In this forecast, severe weather will be returning to the Ohio Valley and the Northeast over the next 48 hours. And a major pattern change will bring more severe weather, but a cool down to portions of the United States. All of that and more is coming right up. Hey everybody, welcome back to a max velocity weather forecast, and today what we're going over is that severe weather potential over the next 4 days across the United States, as well as that cold front that will be moving through the southern plains and as well as through the Ohio Valley into the Northeast. Everything that you need to know will be in this forecast. Let's hop right into it. So as of right now, there is a slight risk for severe weather. It does include a pretty large portion of Ohio into western Pennsylvania, northern Kentucky, as well as northwestern portions of West Virginia. There's also a marginal threat that extends down through the southern plains. More on that in just a second. Main threats though today will be damaging winds, maybe a little bit of isolated large hail, and also the potential for maybe an isolated tornado or two later this afternoon into the evening hours. Here's a look at that timing for this afternoon. We'll start to see some showers and storms beginning to develop between about 5 to 8 o'clock this evening. That'll start anywhere from the Great Lakes down through portions of central and western portions of Ohio. By about 9 to 10 o'clock tonight, we'll start to see storms move off to the east. They will remain fairly scattered. About 40 to 50% of Ohio will see some sort of rain tonight. Eventually by about 11 to 12 o'clock, storms moving off to the east towards areas like Wheeling, eventually into western Pennsylvania, and as well as into western West Virginia. By 1 to 2 in the morning, all those storms are moving into those states, and eventually they will start to weaken out as they push off to the east. Main threat going to be damaging winds after about 11 o'clock. I would expect most severe weather to taper off by about 1 to 2 in the morning tonight. Here's a look at the severe weather potential down into Kentucky as well as Tennessee. By 8 to 9 o'clock, we'll see some scattered showers and storms developing. This is in central time. That does include areas near Bowling Green and Elizabethtown, and eventually down to the south near Clarksville. By about 10 to 11 o'clock, more of a cluster of storms going to be ongoing there in Kentucky. By 12 to 1 in the morning, storms moving down to the south and east. We might still see a cluster of storms going through eastern Tennessee by the dawn hours of tomorrow morning, but overall severe weather will stay very limited in that direction. And there's also a marginal threat for severe weather across southeastern Oklahoma and northern North Texas. More details on this on the More Max Velocity channel that we just released. Check the top link in the description for more information on that. All right, let's head into tomorrow. There is a slight risk for severe weather across New England. This almost includes the entire New England region, excluding southeastern Maine, as well as the extreme southern coastline near Cape Cod, as well as Nantucket. But the main threats will be damaging winds up to 75 miles per hour, the potential for maybe some $quarter to $half sized hail, as well as the potential for maybe a couple of tornadoes. That's our main threats. There's also a slight risk of severe weather across the southeast that goes from North Carolina all the way over to Mississippi, and there's also a marginal threat that extends all the way into Texas. Main threats are going to be damaging winds and maybe some isolated large hail. Tornado threat's going to remain extremely low down that direction. Here's a look at the timing in New England for tomorrow. 1 to 2 o'clock, we'll start to see a cluster of storms, basically a line developing back out into eastern Vermont as well as into western New Hampshire. By 3 to 4 o'clock, storms are moving off to the east. Again, main threats going to be damaging winds with these. Eventually, by about 5 to 6 o'clock, we'll start to see some storms moving into Maine, and eventually going towards 7 to 8 o'clock, storms will be, for the most part, starting to weaken out as they move into eastern Maine. I can't rely on still some isolated damaging wind gusts or very isolated quarter-sized hail. Storms will be moving off the coastline closer to Rockingham County, down in southern portions of Maine near Portland, and as well as off the east coast near Boston. By 9 to 10 o'clock, though, overall, most storm activity should be moving off the coast. Very limited severe weather is expected after 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Here's a look at the severe weather potential down in the southeast. We'll start to see some showers and storms developing during the afternoon. Again, most threats will be damaging winds or maybe some hail as well. Columbia going to start seeing some storms early tomorrow afternoon. By 4 to 5 o'clock, we'll see storms moving off to the east, off closer to the coastline. They will eventually move offshore before the evening hours begin. Eventually by 7 to 8 o'clock, we'll have another cluster of storms developing. This will probably produce some severe weather as well. May bring a little bit of localized flash flooding as well. By 10 to 11 o'clock, storms moving down to the south and east again, and eventually we'll all clear out, probably going to the overnight hours tomorrow. Here's a look at the severe weather potential back out in Alabama and Mississippi. We'll see a potential for some showers and storms during the mid to late morning hours. Eventually into the early afternoon, we'll have another cluster of storms back out to the west. That will produce the potential for maybe some isolated large hail or maybe some damaging winds as well. Maybe another little area of storms developing tomorrow evening, just due to how much instability we have and really the setup and a lot of moisture as well to feed into those storms as well. All right, we have another chance for severe weather heading into Friday. There is a marginal threat for severe weather in Wisconsin, Iowa, southern Minnesota, as well as eastern and central portions of Nebraska. Main threats as of right now seem to be damaging winds. There's also a slight risk for severe weather heading into Saturday, and this has already been issued by the Storm Prediction Center. This goes for Wisconsin, Iowa, and southeastern Minnesota. We'll keep you up with the latest on this situation and more. Make sure to subscribe button down below and like the video. We'll have more details on this and our next forecast. This forecast is brought to you by Platinum Contracting and All Dents Repair.